The poor are not poor because they are unskilled. They are poor because financial system is designed in a way to exclude them.
These people have much bigger problems than just credit and savings. They get the credit, they get the savings. They're important, yes, and they do a little better, but then they fall back down.
Through financial wellness, A, the risks of the individuals are managed. Second, they have better access to financial services, which brings us to another very important topic, that is financial inclusion.
Insurance is like an iceberg. The little bit at the top is what people see. They don't know what you're doing behind the scenes. They don't know how you're making it so that you can pay claims in almost no time. So these are all important issues. The objective of the Microinsurance Center at Milliman is to get good microinsurance products in the hands of 3 billion low-income people.
One partnership model which Pakistan should do immediately.
For all that you've done, and
So I read this line somewhere. The poor are not poor because they are unskilled. They are poor because financial system is designed in a way to exclude them. And this quote stuck with me. And we will talk about this today. So welcome everyone. Welcome to WINsights episode number 4. WINsight is the premium podcast series that EFU Life has hosted. It's a platform where wellness meets insights. Win is the wellness brand of EFU Life. Till now, we have spoken about mental wellness, physical wellness, and nutrition. And today, we will speak about a very important component, and that is financial wellness. Without financial wellness, we at EFU Life firmly believe that the circle of life, the circle of wellness doesn't complete. What is financial wellness and why is it helpful to anyone? So, through financial wellness, A, the risks of the individuals are managed. Second, they have better access to financial services, which brings us to another very important topic, that is financial inclusion. Financial inclusion, including masses into the financial net, I think can only be possible if we look at it holistically and not just one component of it. It consists of credit, it consists of savings, and very important, insurance. And insurance, specifically inclusive insurance. So, when we talk about inclusive insurance at EFU Life, we are very proud to say that we are leading this way in Pakistan. With 35 partnerships, 14 ecosystems, and 10 million lives, we have taken that leap. And today, I am very proud that we are taking inclusive insurance again globally. And to do that, we have a very important person with us today. He is Michael McCord. So, Michael McCord is the managing director of Microinsurance Center at Milliman. He is the founding member of the Microinsurance Network. He has experience in 80 countries. He has taught communities to build resilience. We are very proud to have him today with us at EFU Live. So, Michael, without wasting any much time, I am very excited for this conversation. And I wanted to ask you that if you are excited and how do you feel about being at EFU Live and at this podcast?
I am very excited. Nilofer, thank you so much. I'm honored to be able to be here and to talk with you. And just, it's such a delight to be able to talk about these issues and the issue of resilience and helping people to be able to advance their lives. I'm really excited to be here. I was on the phone with a committee that I lead in Nigeria last night.
Right.
And one of the people were saying that, I read this article about some company that has 9 million clients somewhere. We should learn more about that. And I said, well, I'm going to see EFU tomorrow. And they have 10 million clients and they have all kinds of different channels and products and risk management innovations. I mean, it's such a thrill to be here. And, I think I'm going to learn easily as much as I'm going to be able to provide. So thank you so much for inviting me.
We are so honored, Michael, to have you here. And it's really heartening to hear this from someone like you, someone who is respected worldwide, who's considered as someone who's a pioneer, I think, of microinsurance and is spreading it to different countries and communities. And with that, the question that comes into my mind suddenly is that your experience spans over decades and over continents. What was that one moment in your life where you kind of decided that microinsurance is the mission of your life? What was that one moment that sparked? I am very excited to know that.
It was a two-step process. One, I'm a chemist. I'm not an insurer. I'm a chemist. And I spent some time living in Congo. And there I met a guy who was across the street from me. And every morning he would take out a table and he would cut up a piece of soap because that's what people needed, was a small piece. They
Right.
couldn't afford the whole piece. And so I thought, wow, he'd go to the town and he'd get another bar of soap when he finished that one. And I thought, this guy needs financial services.
Yeah.
This was in 1983.
Oh, wow.
Before, a long time
Yeah.
ago. So your comment about decades is right. It's, and so then I figured I'm going to learn how to do finance for this low income market. And so I did that. I got a master's degree, and then I got to start doing microfinance in Kenya and Uganda. And right away I realized, these people have much bigger problems than just credit and savings. They get the credit, they get the savings. They're important, yes.
Yeah.
And they do a little better, but then they fall back down. And they do better and they fall back down. And they can't seem to get out of
Yeah.
poverty. And I thought, this is a simple solution. This is insurance. And so
Absolutely.
that's what really got me there. When in talking to people out in the bush, clients, microfinance clients, and they said, oh, but this happened to me. And then I had to do this and this and this. And then I didn't have money. And it's just, that should be a simple solution. And so that's what got me interested. And so that was in 1994. And since then,
Wow.
I've been very much focused on microinsurance. In 2000, I started the Microinsurance Center because I thought somebody needs to be focusing on this. So,
That's great. So we should all thank that one person who was right there at the street.
yep.
Because of that gem, we found you.
Yep. It's all because of him.
Excellent. Excellent. So, Michael, you have seen insurers across different geographies in various maturity paths of their journey. What have you seen as a biggest mindset shift? Because I always think inclusive insurance or micro insurance, it's not about a product change, it's not about a process change. It's always about the mindset shift. What do you think about this, and how have you seen that actually happen in countries?
I've called that the mindset shift. I've called that the paradigm shift that has to happen in insurance companies. And I can remember maybe 20 years ago being in the Philippines and talking with senior leadership at the insurance companies. I was with one of the insurance associations. They had a meeting. And I said, successful microinsurance is going to require a paradigm shift. You have to think about this in a much different way.
Absolutely.
And that's what I've worked on for a long time. And you can see, not because of me, but you can see the paradigm shift that has happened in the Philippines in particular.
That's true.
They cover almost half the population
Wow.
with micro or inclusive insurance. And you've got a number of really good insurance companies that have made that paradigm shift and actually do good products, good microinsurance. And so, that's great to see. What I see though, are companies that don't really want to do the paradigm shift. It's a little too hard for them. And they're used to doing something in a certain way and they're making some money. So why change that? And that's fine. But, what I argue is, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you do. What I need in a country is at least one or two institutions that want to do
That
work, that want to break into the market, that want to make a massive change in the market of insurance in their country. and then the others will follow along. Insurance is a classic copycat business.
That's true.
And so
Absolutely.
they'll sit back and watch you for a while,
Yeah.
and then they'll start to do things. And, and the only issue there is that insurance is it's like an iceberg. The little bit at the top is what people see.
Absolutely.
They don't know what you're doing behind the scenes. They don't know how you're making it so that you can pay claims in almost no time, right? So these are all important issues, and that's a lot of why I write. I hate to write. But if you go to Google, there's at least 200 things that'll come up that I've
That's
written.
true.
And I only do that because we're committed to helping people to not start at the bottom rung all the time. Let's help them to move up, and then we can get better success. The objective of the Microinsurance Center at Milliman is to get good microinsurance or good insurance products in the hands of 3 billion low-income people who are now low income. And because of that mission, it pushes us to write. It pushes us to do classes. It pushes us to speak at things all the time. And yeah, I think we see that paradigm shifting some places faster than others, but this is really, it's critical. And let me just say that, the paradigm shift for microinsurance or inclusive insurance, if you can do these things for the low income market, why wouldn't you do them for the upper
For the
market
upper
too?
market too.
Right? We
That's
say that products have to be simple for the low income market. Why wouldn't a wealthy person want to have a simple policy? I mean, I'm not wealthy at all, but I have life insurance. I've never read the policy. That's not consumer protection. Just make it simple for me, okay? And
that's true.
so I think we can take those lessons and apply
And
those
apply it.
above.
So, Michael, I can relate to so many things. Like your answer, I was just walking down my memory lane to just go through all the years that we have been through at EFU Life. So, the about the mission that you said, the mission that we are carrying on our shoulders is that every household in Pakistan should be insured with the EFU Life. And they can be insured through any channel. So, we have a depth of distribution channels. We have our sales force, we have bank assurance, then we have corporate relationship managers going to other companies, and then we have this digital and inclusive widespread network of the model. So it's also very evident that digital and inclusive in like 5 or 6 years was able to reach to 10 million lives.
Yeah.
And if you include all our existing distribution channels, including corporate, I think it would be around 2.5 to 3 million lives. So this was the kind of shift that we saw. Then we also saw that the things that you were mentioning about making it simple, it was very difficult actually. Actually, I would say for a company this size, is to make something simple is much more difficult than to make things complex. But once you do that, you actually love it. And then the point that comes into your mind is, when you can do it for them, why can't you do it for the rest? And why do you have to make the terms and conditions so critical? So with digital and inclusive, when we started, I still remember that day. It was hilarious. We started with 35 exclusions in a contract because always used to have it
Yep.
in our existing products, right? But slowly, gradually, down the line, and 6 years from now, I think hardly 2 exclusions. Hardly.
Wow.
This is how we have reduced. And all data based, all proven. And we are still here, growing every day. Nothing has happened to our company. We are growing.
Yeah. Yeah. And we need
Exactly.
more examples like that to
That's
show other people that you can do this. Because literally, like you said, that's where the exclusions come from. They pull them off the shelf, and every once in a while they add another one because something happened. Right?
absolutely.
And that's just what gets applied. And, you know, I think there's always three things with exclusions. One is that there are some that don't belong there at all.
Yeah.
We won't pay your death claim if you're in an accident with a rocket propelled vehicle, like one insurance company. Okay, so just get rid of those. Okay, then you've got a whole bunch in the middle that maybe happen once every little bit and maybe don't have much of an impact.
Yeah.
So just price those in.
Absolutely.
Even low-income people pay a range because if they trust something, if it covers the things they need, then they're willing to pay a little more.
Yes. And they value it.
Yeah, they value it. And
Absolutely.
if we can't get them to value the product, we've got nothing.
Absolutely.
And then there's that kind of top layer, one or two of them that, there is a substantial
Yeah.
cost. And can you make that work? But then you've got from 35 to 2. So it's probably the same process you went through.
Yes. Exactly the same process.
And I'm happy to say no exclusions, but you have to have data
Yes.
and you have to have numbers behind it. And so I say, okay, tell me what the price is of this exclusion. If we make this.
Absolutely.
So tell me what the price is. And there we can get everybody to have a rational approach and look at this and say, yeah, okay, we don't need that.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right. And then it's always a journey. It doesn't happen on day one. You have to be on it. You have to continuously review, monitor. I think agility is another thing that is very important when it comes to inclusive insurance because you are issuing something that is in masses. So every day seems like a new day. And that's what I would think that's the most fun part of it.
Yes. Yes.
So, Michael, this brings me to another important perspective that you have seen digital and inclusive grow in various markets, in various countries. If I would say this question is for everyone who is hearing this podcast, three things, three non negotiable. If an insurer wants to really pursue digital and inclusive insurance, what would they be?
Understand your clients.
Right.
You can't develop a product if you don't understand your clients. And so many people have tried. I get insurance companies that tell me, oh, we have this great product for our market, but nobody will buy it. And I say, well, why not? And they say, they don't understand insurance. So, okay, let me see your product. And the product is crap.
Right.
All right. I wouldn't want it myself. I wouldn't tell anybody to buy it. It's just terrible. And so we're passing that on to our clients. We're saying they don't understand, so that's their problem. We have to have good products. We have to have products that are responsive to clients. We have to be able to do this inexpensively, as efficiently and cheaply as possible. And this is a key place where technology comes in. We can't go door to door and try to sell insurance that way. We can't try to do things manually. We have to be able to use technology to be able to manage these transactions. And so I think technology is absolutely critical, and I'm thrilled to see many of the innovations that I've been seeing. I think there's one caveat to that is that we have to be careful that we make sure that our clients can access those. In some places I see fancy smartphone apps that are really cool, but if clients can't get access to smartphones, how do we do that?
That's true.
So thinking about how we manage that and what kind of technology we might use for those, I'd say that's critical. But absolutely, we need technology and we need better technology. And I'm thinking, about also when we're looking at livestock and crop insurance and such, right? There's a lot that you can do with technology to help people be more productive.
Yeah.
To help people manage the health of their herd and their crops. And so many possibilities, I think, for technology. And then the third one would be around regulations, I think.
Right.
How we make sure that regulations are facilitative. And, I'll be honest that in the US, we try to do some things, nothing. Nobody's interested. They don't want to, those regulators don't want to step out of line at all. But in these countries where we work in the South, right? Then there actually is a motivation for them to help more people get insurance. And so they are much more flexible. And they do help create facilitative environments. And so, I said before, I'm a chemist, right? But I get laws changed all over the place. And it's not because I'm so good, but it's because they want to have success, and I help them to find ways of doing that. So those three things, I think: technology to help reduce costs and to get out, regulations, and understand your clients. Those three things
That's great. So everyone now has a checklist, and we can just follow that and make inclusive and digital insurance more successful.
Yep.
So,
And you said, I'm sorry, you said that you have to be flexible when doing
yeah,
microinsurance and inclusive insurance. And yeah, that's what I say. I'll tell people, if you can't be flexible, you don't belong in
you,
microinsurance. Just, yeah, forget it.
yeah, that's so true. So, now, Michael, very important point you raised about regulations. And actually, this was something that was coming to my mind as the next question. So, you are speaking what I have in my mind. Are you able to read it?
Huh. And getting the waves.
The waves. Yeah. So, Michael, about regulations, I think this is one very important point because look, if the partners are also willing to actually partner, the insurers are willing and they want to do something in inclusive insurance. But if the regulatory environment doesn't support, then everything becomes really difficult.
Yeah.
So, you have seen so many countries and so many regulators. What regulatory approach has worked best in increasing the penetration of inclusive insurance?
The best one, I'm sorry, has become almost cliche, but it's the Philippines.
Right.
And when the Philippines started on this mission, their insurance commissioner at that time said, "We want to be the example of how to regulate microinsurance for expansion
Right.
for all of Southeast Asia." And they got funding from ADB and from others
Right.
to help make this happen. They worked with the insurance industry to put together not just the rules and the policies and the regulations, but also how do we explain this to clients, the marketing that they did and the education that they did. And there were committees of insurers and the regulators, and this worked out really well. And then they went through and they had it and they did some things, and then they made some changes because they realized they don't work, but they constantly kind of kept that in their mind, even from commissioner to commissioner to commissioner,
Right.
which all
Yeah,
day was a big issue.
that's true.
They kept this objective in their mind, and it helped them to constantly make those kind of changes that they needed. Other countries where we've seen some interesting things, Ghana
Correct.
in West Africa has had a substantial portion of their market open, and that was where some of this mobile insurance,
Right.
microinsure and Bima, both started out of Ghana.
Yeah.
And it's because the head of supervision there at that time, Kofi Ando, a good friend, he basically created a sandbox before
Right.
we talked about sandboxes, before we knew what a sandbox was. But he basically said, okay, you guys try this. We'll follow you closely and we'll learn from that. And this was a tremendous input. And over time, the two of them, Bima and Microinsure, probably had 100 million clients,
That's true.
including here in Pakistan. They had
Yeah.
a good number.
Yeah. 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 So, very interesting, Michael. I think we will soon have Pakistan in that list too, because I would really like to appreciate our regulators for EFU Life to reach 10 million lives and to do 35 partnerships and penetrate in so many different ecosystems. I think that wouldn't have been possible if their guidance and support wouldn't have been there. I really recall that time when we were starting digital and inclusive insurance. It was nothing like a paperless policy in Pakistan. It was not there in the regulations. And we went to them and we said there would be no paper. Right from enrollment to the final policy issuance, there would be no paper. It will be all digital. And actually, they created a space for us. They understood the need and they helped us to do new things. And we sat in a room and we were always talking about solutions. And I would think that's, in my opinion, has been one of the biggest blessings for us so far.
Yeah.
So, Michael, from the regulators, the second important entity in the inclusive insurance ecosystem is the partners. So, the ride hailing services, the microfinance institutions, the telcos, the digital payment platforms, the entire range. So, basically, anyone who has reached to those millions of customers. So, now that has played a significant role. How is the role of partners in other markets, and how do you see that role in future as well?
Mm. The many people and myself included, I think, would say that distribution is the most important part. If you don't have distribution, you've
That's
got
true.
nothing. Doesn't matter how good your product is, but you've got to be able to have distribution. And so I've always said that what we want are anybody who aggregates this market, and we want to work through them because, again, we can't go one by one.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's work through those groups, and they have been tremendously important. I think maybe the biggest group has been the MNOs, the mobile network
Right.
operators, and they've had a very positive impact here. I think what we've learned over time is that we can't expect them to sell the product for us, but what we can expect is that they can be the transactional
Yes.
mechanism.
Yeah.
And among the things we've learned is that there's certain places where you need touch with
Yeah.
clients,
Yeah.
and there's
That's
certain
true.
places where you can use technology. And if you can, maybe you have to sell by a phone call, by some kind of group meetings or something. But then as soon as you can, you get them onto the mobile systems, then it becomes, again, efficient, cheaper,
Yeah.
better access. And I think these will be really important. I remember there was an extreme example in Nigeria
Right.
where the MNOs, they were charging between 60 and 70% as commission.
Yeah.
And how can you have any value for clients there?
That's true.
Right. And so ultimately what happened was the regulator shut it down.
Yeah.
And I think this was a problem
Right.
for
Right.
insurance in Nigeria. But so I think that these partners are the key. This is how we get out. We have to be careful to make sure that just because we're excited about our product doesn't mean they're going to be.
Yeah.
How does what we have help them
Absolutely.
in their business? And so looking at those issues, then that becomes critically important. And then now you're really in a partnership. It's not just them selling the product for you. It's not just them expecting commissions, because we've done research in some distribution channels, and you can see that the impact of clients having insurance versus not having insurance for the distributor
Correct.
is worth way more
Right.
than the commission that they're asking for.
Yeah.
And we all know that commission just gets added to the premium. It makes it more expensive for people,
Absolutely.
harder to sell. And so let's think about these benefits. So that's really important. And I think, in a lot of ways, this is going to continue to be a market that's driven by these different distributions.
That's true. And Michael, that's a very important point because sometimes we as insurers fail to understand that the people who we are reaching out to for the partners, insurance is not their core business model. They are operating without it happily.
Yep.
So we need to go an extra mile to make them understand the importance of insurance and absolutely detach it from the commissions or the acquisition expenses, because that charm or that thrill obviously is there, but there is much more to it. So when they say insurance adding on to the stickiness of their customers, insurers adding value to what other platforms are not providing, becoming a one-stop shop for all the customers. So then they start to realize the value of the partnership, and this will only happen if the partnership is not transactional.
Yes.
It has to be strategic.
Yep.
That
Yep.
was my opinion on it.
Perfect. And, when we think about these distribution channels, one of the things that's become very important to us, and we're starting to see it more and more, is that we're not just selling insurance. Insurance is a key piece. Everything you do, we do have an insurance component. But more and more now, we have risk management components.
True.
How do we help people to not suffer those issues? Right? You can have the best product that was ever made,
Yeah.
but you don't want your husband to die. You don't want your crops to die. You don't want your kid to be in the hospital. How can we help them
That's true.
to manage that? That helps us. It helps them. It makes insurance more tangible.
Yeah.
And so this is something that I think we need to think about in terms of partnerships too. How do we get these partnerships that help us link with the clients in these risk management ways?
That's
We're
so true.
going to see a lot more of that, I think.
Absolutely. And risk management and preventive techniques, I think they are very useful, right? Because whether we like it or not, the claim of an insurance generally comes in when the person is very desperate or when an event has happened. And imagine an insurer going just to them on those 2 times of the year, one about collecting premiums and second about paying claims. So I think this preventive concept that is developing worldwide, and in EFU Life also we have our wellness and lifestyle brand called Win. So we took a segmentation route with that brand. We started with our priority customers, and now we are taking it to all the segments of the customers that we have. We started with priority, then we involved our individual mass customers to it. Then we went and penetrated in corporates, and now we are including our digital and inclusive customers to it, because they also need these advice, I think, more
Yeah.
than the normal society, because the normal society can still get them in various other ways. But these customers really need someone who can hold their hands and who can help them. So, like for example, a telemedicine service for someone who doesn't have an access to hospital in miles from where they live, and they speaking to a mainstream doctor who is sitting in one of the main cities and helping them in an emergency. I think that sticks with them for a longer mile.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Engage customer more, help them beyond the insurance need, and we will suddenly see that the insurance will get a positive impact
Yeah.
out of everything that we have done outside of that.
Yeah. And people are seeing that there's a benefit because there's more touch points and it becomes more part of their ecosystem.
That's so true. Would not end this podcast without having a rapid fire discussion with you.
Oh, okay.
I think our audience will really enjoy this. We'll try. I'll try to give you questions that you can answer in one word or maybe say one line. But we will have this quick and rapid. So, are you ready for this exciting rapid fire?
Okay. I'm ready.
So, I think I would still say one country that Pakistan wants to learn. I know the answer, but still once more.
Philippines.
One innovations insurers are too slow to adopt.
Client sensitivity, client focus.
One myth that inclusive insurance that needs to end.
Credit life.
That funny. One partnership model which Pakistan should do immediately.
You have most of them now. You had the big ones. This is a hard one
We have
because
kept you thinking.
yeah. I'm gonna have to pass on that.
So I feel glad that Michael didn't had the sudden answer. That's like a real acknowledgement for all of us.
Yeah.
All of us.
For all that you've done, and yeah,
Great. Pakistan's inclusive insurance potential in one word.
massive.
And most important question for us, what surprised you most about EFU Life?
10 million clients.
Excellent. So thank you so much, Michael. Thank you to all the audience who was listening to this podcast. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Um, this was my first as the host of this WINsights season, and I think it's been my best till I have done so many panels and so many podcasts. This has been my best. I think the entire Pakistan, all the ecosystem players, whether we talk about industry, whether we talk about partners, whether we talk about customers, regulators, there was something for each one of them. I wish every one of us all the best. And I really think then when Michael comes here for the second podcast in this series, we will be way forward than from where we are. Thank you so much, Michael, for your time. Thank you so much for all the great insights that you have brought to Pakistan and you have brought to EFU Life. We are really, really grateful to you. Thank you.
Nilofer, thank you very much. And thank you to EFU Life, not just for having me, but for this great work, right?
Thank you.
These people, they need insurance, and that you're taking the reins here and showing everybody how to do it through different channels, different products, responsiveness. This is great. And it's so wonderful to see EFU Life. So thank you. Thank you for all that you do. And thank you for having me here.
Thank you.